let's go over some of the features that the Outlander Backcountry 1000 does come with. So we'll start off at the handlebars. You get a handlebar riser, which is really nice, especially for people like me that prefer to ride standing up. Your winch control is now integrated into your switch gear, which is very nice. Cleans up the handlebars quite a bit. You also get these handguards, which are a nice design. You get front and rear bumpers. I really like these bumpers, especially because the toe points are integrated right into it for strapping it down on your trailer. You also get a Can AM 3,500 pound winch, which now comes standard with synthetic rope. No more cable. The Backcountry also comes with full, I believe they are like a Polytech plastic skid plate, including the wheel well plates, or the footwell plates as well, which is nice, especially if you're going over logs and rocks and other stuff like that. You also get the Showa 1.5 shocks like the XMR does, which really help with the ride, along with the Gen 3 dual A-arm suspension in the rear. This really softens up the ride. No more torsion trailing arm. But back to the things that the Outlander Backcountry comes with, you also get 14-inch beadlock aluminum wheels with 30-inch XPS Iron Force tires. So these are basically set up for trail riding, rock crawling, and it just makes the machine ride nice and a good all-arounder. What you also get with the 1000 are these really good looking accent lights at the top, and of course you've got your new full LED headlights that Can Am started doing back in 2023. These things are super bright. No more need for a light bar, but the bumper does have a spot for a light bar if you want to put one of those on. And then you get, this is not exclusive to the Backcountry, but you do get your front and rear storage boxes, which are nice. The front one's nice and deep. You can pack a lot of stuff in there. And then the rear one is nice because you can always just take this thing out of here and put something else back in here. Turn these two link clips here and here. Close this down a bit and you can just grab this whole thing. Pull it right on out. There you go. Put whatever other accessory you want back in here. As I stated in a previous video though, you don't really have a grab handle to grab onto back here anymore because of the new center exit exhaust. And this bumper, as that sticker indicates, does get hot. So if you've been ripping for a while and you grab it, who knows, you might get burnt. Let's not test that theory. And your license plate. Remember to mount it with the bottom screws, because if you mount it with the top screws, you're going to cook your plate. Not exactly the best way that this was set up, because you could cut yourself on your plate if you're not careful. I won't be surprised if some people end up taking the BRP logo off and screwing it right to their plastic. But knowing me, I don't like drilling holes in a brand new machine, so it'll probably stay the way it is for now. I believe it is a 13.5 liter fuel tank. The other thing that is different is your battery is now located in behind this box in the rear wheel well. And I will take the seat off real quick to show you what is under the seat now. So underneath your seat, you've got your toolkit. There looks like a tire pressure gauge there and a tool to adjust your shocks. And then underneath that red thing is a post for a positive terminal for like a battery charger or tender. And then you get this little shelf underneath here with a USB-C cable to charge your phone. On some of the single cylinder models you actually get a full glove box, but since this is a V-twin, you got that second cylinder taking up space, so you don't get a deep glove box, but that's okay. I really like the details that they've actually put into the stitching and stuff on their seats. It's kind of nice. And of course, like all Gen 3s, you get the P drive CVT system with butter smooth shifting. No Can AM rock. Watch that, all the way from low to park. No rocking needed. Got your single lever brake, which activates all 4 corners on the handlebar with your parking brake. And then you've got your conventional foot brake, which activates just the back brakes. But take a look at these rotors. Those are some pretty big rotors for the front of this thing. Should stop pretty good. Also, since it's a 1000, you've got 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive. The backcountry does come with the Visco 4-lock system. Your engine modes, work mode, normal mode, and sport mode. And the intelligent engine braking system, which controls your engine braking. You want to run it on maximum if you want that normal feeling that you would get with your older Outlanders. And if you run it on minimum, this thing pretty much just coasts and does not engine brake at all. The engine braking is controlled through the computer now. And then your start button, you hold it down while it's running. It works for your tri-mode DPS system. So your 3 levels of power steering, your minimum, maximum, and medium. And it also works as your reverse override. And as I've read in the owner's manual, I haven't tested it yet, that override switch will also override the speed limiter when your front diff is locked. Which is nice, because a lot of people, when they tune their machines, they remove the speed limiter when their front differential is locked anyways. Of course, this has Can Am's new 999cc V-twin, which pumps out 101 horsepower, the highest in the industry at current. So this is a bit of a step up from the previous models. So for me, this thing should be pretty interesting when I finally throw it in sport mode and see what it can really do. And with the 1000s, you also get, I believe this is the 7.6-inch display, similar to what the 850s and the 1000s had in the previous generation. I was actually waiting for them to come out with a screen, because some of you may have seen that the newer Sea-Doos have this 10.25-inch touchscreen, and the Can AM XTP with Smart Shocks actually has the same screen as well, because that's how that's your interface to control your shock adjustment. I was waiting for that to come out because they also came out with a smaller version on the electric ATV, but then I said screw it, and I wasn't waiting around for a what if. And the screen is good enough anyways and tells you everything you need to know. So I know this wasn't probably as fancy as my walk around with the 2022 850, but it gets the job done, and it tells you everything that you need to know, or at least most of what you need to know. As for disassembly, lift the seat off, flip that panel there, and you literally pull out both side panels, and then you can see your CVT on this side. The other side, you've got your oil dipstick and everything. And then these fenders, so when you're doing your oil changes and stuff, there's a couple little pins right there, and I think there's one more. So you pop that side cover off, and then this whole panel here slides out, and then you can easily access your oil filter and everything. And then for your air filter, I'm not going to do it right now. I can do it in another video, but you turn these 2 screws here and here. There's a button here on this side, there's a button on the other side, and you pop that cover right off, and then that's how you access your air filter and your fuse box. Way nicer to remove than the Gen 2 pods that you had to literally like tear off of the thing. So that will probably conclude my walk around of the 2026 Can AM Backcountry 1000. And once I get some more hours on this thing, I'll give you guys a review. Once she's, let's say 10 hours or 300K. If a technical break-in for these things. I'll let you guys know what I think about it. But right now I can tell you this thing is definitely better than the Gen 2. And since my brother still has a Gen 2 Outlander 850, we'll put the two up head to head. I know it's not an apples to apples comparison because you've got a 1000 versus an 850. It's not really fair, but you can get a gist of how the chassis act differently and the better ride and all that stuff. And then of course the power difference, but that's not really fair. I don't have a 1000 Gen 2 to put up against this, so who knows? Maybe somebody I meet on the trail will do a comparison with me or some shit, but we'll see what happens. That's a what if. Alright, well, I guess that pretty much wraps this up, so I will catch you guys on the next one, which is hopefully sooner than later.